Hi, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to which is our first webinar Wednesday for K3 Pebblestone in 2022. Gosh, long time now, yeah. Thanks for taking the time to join us today. I'm Frank Deans, Partner Director for K3 Fashion and Pebblestone in the UK and Nordic markets. For those of you that know, I've been working in the fashion retail market for, I guess, over 15 years now. And the last 4 of those have been here at K3. But today, I'm accompanied by Ali Breeman. Ali is a product manager for K3 Pebblestone. I'm sure Ali will introduce herself further, but to those of you that do know Ali, you'll probably know that she's been working with and supporting our strategic Pebblestone customers and partners for well over 12 years now at K3. So I'm sure she'll give more detail on that later. I can see a number of names that I can recognise on the attendee list today, and some new ones also. And by way of introduction for those newcomers to this webinar Wednesday series, these are monthly events where each section covers a specific feature or functional area within the Pebblestone solution. And the idea of the forum is to encourage partners to join us to either refresh their memories on Pebblestone or indeed to learn something completely new about the solution. And before we kick off today, I would encourage you all to register for the next session, which is planned. I think it's the 19th of March, where we'll do a bit of a deep dive into the cargo management functionality. And please just feel free to invite your colleagues, come along to these sessions by forwarding any of the invitations that we send out to them. Now, if you don't or you can't find any of the invitations, just drop me a note or Ali, and I'm sure we can get them organised to send out to you. Now, let's just pop on to the next slide, Ali.
Yeah. There you go.
Thanks. Yeah, just a very, very brief agenda for us today. But listen, if you have any questions during the product overview, please just use the area in the GoToMeeting chat panel, submit your questions, and we'll pick them up as we go. And we also have a kind of 10-minute slot at the end. You can see, I think Ali will be doing about a 30-minute overview of the functionality. But with all these things, they are time limited, so I would suggest get your questions in early and don't be shy. Just get the information in there. But if there are any unanswered questions that we'll obviously organise a bit of a follow-up with you. Now, the other thing I'd like to say is that the webinar will be recorded today, and typically for those that are registered and couldn't attend, and a link to the recording will be shared with you via email within the next couple of days. We also typically put a copy onto our YouTube channel, where you can also find many other sessions that we've done. I think this is probably about the 3rd, maybe even the 4th session, I think now, Ali, I'm not sure, but there's also these sessions and a whole lot more about K3 Pebblestone up there as well.
Yeah.
But back to today's session. Today we are focusing on Pebblestone's Generation 2 pre-sales planning functionality. Now, Ali will define what pre-sales actually is, and I guess why fashion companies work with this process, and she'll explore how they kind of benefit from it as well. So there's a lot of good, useful information to come out from Ali. So just like to say thank you again for joining us today. Very excited to bring you this latest episode. We've seen repeated requests from the market, from partners, for more information about this functionality. So it's an area that is of key interest to partners and customers alike. And without any further ado, I'll hand straight across to Ali to take us through her presentation and demonstration. So Ali, please go ahead.
Yeah,
Screen's yours now. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Frank. First would like to start by explaining why fashion companies use pre-sale and what pre-sale is. Why our fashion companies do that. Designers create collections for their brands based on trend forecasting reports, and they mix that with the identity of their own brand. And when the collection is completed, will be presented, and usually through a salesman sample collection, to the buyers and the retailers of the department stores. Depending on what they see fit for their customers, the final collection will be produced, will become clear. Between 70 or 80% of the designed collection will never make it to the store. So the insights during the pre-sale process is very important because it's hard to predict upfront which styles will be successful and which styles will not be sold enough. Minimum quantities based on fabric or production capacity can be the reason for styles to be cancelled. And because of this process, the collection will never be produced before the selling of the collection is done. The pre-sale plan starts when the buyers of the retailers and the department stores placing their pre-sale orders. So maybe we can take a look at the process flow. Well, this is the way a pre-sale process for the Spring-Summer 2022 collection could look like. Starting the pre-sale collection in June by creating items in Pebblestone, and it's all the way through the closing season closing selling at the end of the next year in March. The highlighted activities are specific for fashion wholesalers. And during these activities, it is crucial to have insights in the production, development, sales, and purchase of the collection. And this is the reason why KT Pebblestone created a dashboard around this whole process. This is not a BI dashboard. It is where you can only look at the information, but it is a dashboard where decisions can be made from and process can be started. From gathering the pre-sale orders, making replacement and cancellation decisions, up to the creation of the purchase orders and the closing of the season. It's all managed through one dashboard, which shows updated information and allows wholesalers to make crucial decisions. Well, let me show you how that looks like in the solution. So first, let me show you the pre-sale plan, and the pre-sale plan is optional. So if I look for it and the pre-sale plan is not activated, this is the message which will appear. So that means that the pre-sale plan is an option, and you can also do all the procurement through the requisition worksheet if you don't want to use the pre-sale plan. So the old way of doing these things. But of course, for this session, we would like to activate it. And this is done by switching on, so use pre-sale plan. By just setting this up, the pre-sale plan becomes available. So we are looking at Spring-Summer 2022. For demo purposes, I will add some filters. And we will also look at the main location. For those items, we have received pre-sale orders, and here we can see the number of items purchased on pre-sales. We can also see some red figures here, and we can see some black figures. This is all triggered because of the item phase. If the item phase of a product is in buying, you can see that the total demand on purchase orders is copied over to this one. So for creating purchase orders, you need to make sure that the item phases is moved to buying. So for the other products, we need to do that first, but we also need to look at if minimum quantities are met. So let's change the item phase and then see what is going on in the data. I will move them over to buying or suggest to put them on buying, and we can see that the total demand is filled here. But we also see that some of the figures are still red and bold, and that is because, for example, the order threshold is not met. So, but per line, we will decide what needs to be done. Will we decrease the number of items? So we will add additional quantities to the purchase order to make sure that the threshold is met, or will we cancel the items? So for example, this is 4 pieces are between the order threshold and the ordered quantity. So I will later on add some additional quantities to add to this line, and we can make sure that we buy this color specifically. But we see here that we have 45% of the order threshold is covered by placed pre-sale orders. And that is not enough. I will make sure that I would like to block this item because we will not be able to buy this to meet the minimums. So I put this one on blocked. The same goes for this one. 42 is not enough. 28%. Oh, this one will also be blocked. The same for this one, 90%, not enough, we will block it. And we see here one for 100, but we need 150. But for example, this color is important for my collection. So I will later on add some quantities so we can still meet the order threshold and we can buy this color. I don't want to block this, so I will leave it on buying. Then we have this one, 73%, looks fine. I will make some changes here. And for this one, the midnight, 57% of the ordered quantity is meeting the threshold, and I will change this one into blocked. I don't want to buy this. This is 80%, so this is fine. This is, I will also block this one. This is not enough. You can always also show the fact box, which allows you to see the images and the colors, so you know what you are talking about by making these decisions. This is really making sure, making the decision for not producing an item. And if this is important for your collection, sometimes, although minimum quantities are not met, you could decide that it should leave, it should stay in the collection. We also have the videos on the pre-sale plan available here, so you could watch a video on how can cancellation and replacements work in the pre-sale plan. So these are also available. Another fact box of information is the expected revenue and the expected cost. So all the items in the pre-sale plan together have an expected revenue of a little bit under 50,000 euros, and the expected costs are around 18,000 euros. By blocking quantities, by not saying that you won't buy them, this will also decrease this number. The same goes for that information also on line level. You can also see per line what the expected revenue and the expected costs are. So we have now decided for a couple of items that we will not continue with that color and we will block it. So we have this one blocked. This one will be blocked. This will be later on. We will put some extra quantity to there. This will blocked, this will be blocked. And now we're going to apply these changes on the item phase, and then we need to uplift the location filter. and then we're going to apply these new phases. And we see that the new item phase are now available, and we can also see for the blocked items that we have a cancellation form here. That cancellations during the pre-sale process, certain items prove to sell better than others. Some items may sell so poorly that decisions is made to not produce or purchase the item. At that moment, the samples of the items concerned are taking out the salesman's sample collection, and the remaining part of the sales pre-sales period, they will focus on items which do sell well. In that case, the company must decide what to do with the now cancelled items, and the sales orders need to be adjusted. Within KT Pebblestone, we have advanced functionality to manage the replacements and the cancellation in an efficient way. KT Pebblestone searches for all the sales order that contains the relevant replacement or cancelled items. An action can be set up to adjust the sales orders by cancelling the items or replacing them with similar items in an automatic way. KT Pebblestone keeps track of these adjustments, so you can report on them later, and gain and loss amount can be automatically registered. The customer can be informed that cancellation and replacement items through the cancellation confirmation, which will be created when the items are cancelled and replaced. So let's take a look at the created replacement worksheet. So for the items which we just moved to blocked to status, you see the records here. And by calculating the worksheet, we can say, okay, let's show me now which sales orders have these cancelled items. And we will make sure that the sales order will be reopened, adjusted, and released again. This is the option for that. And we can press OK. And if we look at the worksheet, we see that all the lines on sales orders and items are now in this worksheet. And by posting, the sales orders will be adjusted. So take a look at this adjusted sales order. Let's take a look at this one. And we can see that we have here the initial quantity was 132. The ordered quantity now is 74. And we can see that we have colors are cancelled now. And we can see here that the differences are posted. And also the gain and loss amount is available here. So the order has been adjusted. And the same goes for the polo t-shirt. Also some cancellations here and blocking. And here we can see that the order has been adjusted. But of course, the customer expects the colors that they have ordered. So we need to inform the customer about these changes. And we have order confirmation for that. I can show you how that looks like. So first of all, we create the sales order confirmation. And secondly, we create the cancellation confirmation. So this is the sales order, and the colors and the sizes which have been ordered are here. And here we can see that these colors and sizes have been cancelled. And the customer also knows now that that is the reason. And they will not can't expect these items to be delivered. To set this up, you can go to Report Selection. And on the order, sales order, you see that we have the sales order confirmation and we have the cancellation confirmation. If there are no cancellation, this report will not run, of course. And if you don't want it, you can just take this out and it will also only get the sales order confirmation. When all the pre-sale orders are placed and the cancellation and replacements are done, the purchase orders can be created within the pre-sale plan. Within the pre-sale plan, it is possible to add additional quantity to the purchase order. Quantity on pre-sales orders and the order threshold is available as a statistic value. News items can be part of the pre-sale buying process and delivered together with the seasonal products if news is part of the setup in the season. Let's go back to the pre-sale plan. And make sure that we can create the purchase orders. And first we need to get some additional quantity here because the order threshold was not met. So for this one, I need minimum 4 extra. So, and in this column, additional quantity to purchase order, we can add extra items. So we need minimum 4, but I would like to have a little bit of stock extra. So I will do 16 in this case. And we can see that the red bold number is gone and it's now possible to order. We have 100% here, so that looks good. We also had here 100 and we needed 150. So we need additional 50 pieces. So let's do 10 over different sizes. And we have 50 extra. That will go into stock and we will sell that later. We have here 150 and we have 110, so we need additional 40 pieces. And we do 5, 5, 5, and 5. Also here we have 100 now, and this one is the last one, I think. We need additional 30 pieces for the off-white. And now everything is good to go. We can order these items now. Create purchase order. And the system will show me or tell me we have a filter on main. And do you want to continue, or do you have potentially other additional needs in other locations? But in this case, it's fine. I want to continue. But if you have other locations, you should say no, and you should get rid of the location filter, of course. But in this case, it's fine. I just want to create the purchase orders for those items. Well, now the purchase order is created. And we can see that 2 purchase orders are created. So let's take a look. To those created purchase orders. This one. So we have here 2 of those items, and we have another vendor with the remaining 3 items, and the quantities are here. So these can now be sent to my vendor, and we can start waiting for the production, and later on we will deliver. If we take a jump in time and say after 3 months the purchase orders are delivered, the sales orders have been delivered to the customers, and then we end up at the end of the season. So just before the closing sales starts, all the outstanding quantities needed to be cancelled. So there is a clear view on the available items for the closing sales. At that moment, no customer will accept a delivery at full price. This is the moment when a stock list can be created and sent to the customer, so they know what they can reorder with discount. To the pre-sale plan, the selection of the items is created, and by pressing the button End of Season Cancellation, the worksheet will generate all the outstanding items on the sales orders in K2 Pebblestone. By clicking on Carry Out Cancellation, the outstanding quantities will be posted as a difference. and the report inventory and price list can be used to inform the customer that they can be reordered with a discount. In the report, we also display the unit price and the recommended retail price. And the list can be created with pictures. So the situation is that sometimes sales orders are, because they are delivered too late from the vendor, as customers will not accept them anymore. And that means that you have outstanding quantities on the sales orders. And that will blur the stock levels. So I created another company to make that jump in time. So let's move over to the other company and how that looks like then. So if we go to the inventory and price list. So this report can calculate availability based on inventory, based on minus sales. A projected available full balance is also possible. But if we take a look at the inventory minus sales, we will show it per color, show also a picture, and we do it for all customers. And let's take a look at the result. We can see that we only have one page, and these are the items which the system would say, okay, this is available to sell at maybe end of season, like a discount. We can see that we have the unit price, we have the recommended retail price, and this is, for example, the ice color. We have them in 18 pieces. But we still have outstanding sales orders which will never be delivered, and this inventory is not the real situation because we have more items available. So if we take a same look at the list and show them on inventory, the situation looks different because we have the additional items also now available. We have 3 pages of available stock. And this can be then sent to the customers and said, okay, this is now available for you to reorder with a discount. And for example, we give you 30% discount if you buy these items. But to do so and to have a clear view on the stock levels, it is important to cancel the end of season items. So we go back to the pre-sale plan. And this is a situation where the purchase orders have been created, the pre-sale orders have been delivered, some of them, but not all of them, because we can see that we have outstanding here. And I just want to clear everything. I want to clear those pre-sale orders out of the system so I get a clear view on the real stock we have available, which can be sold to the customers with a discount. So end of season cancellation will gather all the outstanding quantities and put that in a list. And here we have this overview. And by just posting this end of season cancellation, all the lines, all the sales orders will be cancelled with the reason code that it was shortage, not delivered, or too late. And then the inventory and price list report can be run, and that can be sent to the customers to say, okay, listen, we still have some stock after season. Would you buy some from us with a discount? And then the circle of the pre-sale process is round, and we can close the season, and that's the complete story.
Fantastic. Thanks, Ali. That's really, really informative. Just looking at the questions that have come in, we've actually got 2 or 3. So thanks for engaging with us, guys. I'm going to start with one quite general one, which has come in from Peter, which is in which app can we find the pre-sales planning functionality?
Yeah, the pre-sale planning functionality, the pre-sale plan is part of the Pebblestone app. So there is not additional app. And again, as I explained before, if you don't want to use the pre-sale plan because you do a lot of mixing pre-sale and direct, and you just want to use the requisition worksheet, the old way of doing this purchase creation, that still can be done. So the check mark in the beginning can be set or not. So it's a choice to use it.
No, great stuff. Thanks, Ali. I've got one which has come in from Per at Agidon as well, and I think it was when you were going through the blocking with the thresholds. So the question is it possible to set a minimum percentage on those thresholds so that any line under this is blocked automatically? Or is it always the sort of manual way that you indicated?
Well, I showed that I just put everything on buying, and I was going individually to the item phases to block them, because that was to control it. But you can also use the button to make a suggestion on, and then the system will block those which are not meeting the order threshold. It is a fixed number. So if you have 100 and you say, okay, but 80% of that is also fine, it is counting with numbers. So it's 100, and if it's under 100, it will block it. If it is above, it will not block it. So there is not then a percentage connected to that.
Yeah, so and can that be set automatically, Ali, or is it always?
Yeah, so you can do this. The system can do a suggestion on, okay, I would suggest to block those because they will not meet the order threshold.
Fantastic, thanks, Ali. Hope that answers your question there, Per. And the final one that I've got, which has come up, is again quite a general one, but can we maybe go back to the process flow slide in your PowerPoint just to see where in fact that process, that pre-sales planning actually comes into the overall processes?
Yeah, so I think this is what you mean. Let me enlarge it, and then yeah, this is maybe good to show again. Yeah, so we see in the area where the pre-sale plan sits. So the starting of the pre-sale, where all the purchase order comes in, it's important to see how it goes, how the collection is performing. That's really what you want to see. And then when, let's say 70% of the pre-sale orders are placed, that is usually the moment, and maybe sometimes you do 60% or maybe it's 80%, but there will be a moment that not all the pre-sale orders are in, but you need to start canceling because you don't want the sales people to sell collection items which you already know that will be cancelled. So this is really an interactive process where things change. You need to look really at a day-to-day, hour-to-hour base on what comes in and who large customers come in first. You want to know how they did, what they buy from the collection, and so on. So there is a moment when you will close it and you will start the cancellations. I showed you, and then the buying, the purchase order creation can be done. And then at the end of the season, you go back to the pre-sale plan and you cancel the not delivered items. So you can again have a clear view on the stock levels which you have at the end of the season. So that is the whole flow, and that is where in the process the functionality sits and which is covered by the pre-sale plan.
Fantastic. No, thanks for that, Ali. That's covered all those questions. Let me just check, make sure nothing else has come in whilst we've been chatting. But I think we're pretty clear on that. Yeah. So yeah, that all looks like we've covered off. Listen, if there are any other questions, feel free to reach out, guys, either to myself or to Ali or Kelly. You'll certainly find our email addresses. I'm just looking at the delegate list. I'm sure you know us anyway, but certainly feel free to reach out at any point. And just like to say thank you all. I mean, we've got 3 minutes to go, so I'll just say thank you all for your time today. It's always good to get partners on and you know, keep the conversation running with you guys, as it were. And to remind you that the next session we have is planned in about a month's time, the 19th of March, where we'll be doing a bit of a deep dive into cargo management functionality. So so hopefully you can find 30 minutes, 40 minutes out of your busy schedules to join us then again. So that would be great to see you at that point. And unless there's anything else, Ali, thanks very much for your time today, and thank you also to all of the attendees. And we'll call it a day or a morning, yeah, wherever you are in the world today. Yeah. So thanks, guys. Enjoy the rest of your day and your week.
Okay. Thanks. Thanks. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.